No! What's up my cool dudes, I'm Dylan Dude and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. Today I'm profiling my Morphtronic deck. And all I can say about this deck is that it was one of my very first. I really do love this deck. It is a OTK. Unfortunately you don't draw like Celphon in your, or way to get the Celphon in your opening hand. You are pretty much doomed. But anyway, without further ado, let's just get started. Starting off with, I do play the 3 copies of the Morphtronic Celphon. Celphon is your most important monster of the deck. Basically, each Morphtronic monster has an effect if it's in attack mode or defense mode. Celphon, when he's in attack mode, I can roll a 6-sided die. Then I can reveal the cards from top of my deck equal to the number that was rolled, and then special summon one Morphtronic monster among them, and then shuffle the rest back into my deck. And while Celphon is in defense mode, I can roll a 6-sided die, look at them, and put them on the top, return them to the top of my deck in any order. So really just defense mode, it helps you, defense mode it'll let you set up for your plays, then attack mode, like defense mode set up for your plays, order your deck. So you can draw the, even if you roll a low number, you will get the Morphtronic monster you are after. Attack mode to special summon the Morphtronic monster. It is such a good card at 3, it's a must have. Running 3 copies of the Smarfon. So Smarfon, he cannot be normal summoned set, must be special summoned from your hand by banishing one Morphtronic monster from your graveyard. So he's an interesting case, but you can special him off Celphon as well. You just won't be able to get him back with something like Junk Box or Monster Reborn or Soul Charge. So you do have to be wary of that. Anyway, when hit in attack position, I can roll a 6-sided die, excavate that many cards from the top of my deck, and add a Morphtronic card from my deck, from the excavate pile to my hand. And then while he's in defense mode, I can roll 6-sided die, look at that many cards from the top of my deck and put them on the top or the bottom in any order I do wish. So once again, like Celphon, he's in defense mode, he does have that deck stacking effect. So hey, you gotta take all the legal stacking you can in this deck. It is just phenomenal how much it helps out. Next monster I play is 3 copies of the Morphtronic Boomboxen. Now, Boomboxen is one of your heavy hitters, well, heavy-ish hitters. He's your OTK, helps you OTK. He is amazing. While in attack position, this card can attack twice during each battle phase. And when in defense position, once per turn, when a face of Morphtronic monster is targeted for an attack, he can negate the attack. That is a once per turn effect, but honestly, I've never put him in defense mode. I just summon him. Go for OTK's heavy hitter, so he is just an amazing 3-of. You've got to run him at 3. Next up, I run 2 copies of the Morphtronic Radion. You could run this guy at 3, but I like him at 2. He's 3, he kind of clogs. While in attack position, Morphtronic monsters I control gain 800 attack, and while he's in defense mode, they gain 1000 defense. So really just some point altering, really combos well with the Boomboxen. You summon Boomboxen Radion. Boomboxen's got 2000 attack points and can attack twice. And he starts off with 1k, but with his own effect he goes up to 1800. So he is phenomenal. He's just a power booster. He's amazing. Radion is honestly one of my favorite cards in the deck. But another card that makes the OTK possible is 2 copies of the Morphtronic Boarden. Basically, with Boarden, while he's in attack position, Morphtronic monsters I control can attack my opponent directly. So you can see how that works with the Boomboxen, because Boomboxen can attack twice, and then you combo with the Boarden that can attack directly. You're dealing 2400 to your opponent just with 1 card, and then Boarden can attack directly for another 500. But while Boarden is in defense mode, other Morphtronic monsters I control cannot be destroyed by battle, so a little bit of protection if I really need it. Next Morphtronic monster I run is 2 copies of the Morphtronic Slingen. So a Slingen, while in attack position once per turn, I can tribute one Morphtronic monster, destroy 1 card on the field. He can't tribute himself, unfortunately, otherwise he would be amazing if he could. While in defense position, if this card would be destroyed, you can destroy another Morphtronic instead. So really he's just protects himself a bit. I've never put him in defense position. Actually, I might cut him down to 1 because there's some, because there's another, the next card I run really is more deserving of being a 2 of than a 1 of. But anyway, I'll get on to that now with the 1 Morphtronic Scopen. Scopen, I really do want to bump up to 2. It's just, really, Scopen is just amazing. He's a tuner monster in the deck. When once per turn in attack position, he can special summon a Morphtronic from my hand. So basically I can summon this instant level 7 synchro play right here. And if he was summoned last turn or off if he was summoned like turn before or just during your opponent's turn somehow, there's no way you could do that in this deck. But anyway, that's beside the point. You switch him to defense mode during your turn, he becomes a level 4 and level 8 synchro plays. So really just, he opens up for synchro plays, so he is amazing. I do like him. I only play 1 level 8 synchro, and that is Crystal Wing, so he doesn't make the level 7, the level 8s, but he does make the level 7s possible. My next one of is the 1 Remoten. I've never used this guy. I do not touch it. When attack position once per turn, I can remove from play 1 Morphtronic monster in my graveyard and add 1 with the same level from my deck to my hand. And in defense position once per turn, I can send 1 Morphtronic monster from my hand to the graveyard to add a Morphtronic monster with the same level from my graveyard to my hand. So really, he really helps unclog your hand. I've never used him myself. You can send a level 1 to get back the Celphon or the Smarfon, depending on what plays you need. You can send another level 3 to get the access to your Scopen. You can send level 4, get Boomboxen, Radion. Really just helps recycle and search out cards. Final monster I do run is the 1 copy of the Morphtronic Vaccuumen. So with Vaccuumen, while in attack position once per turn, I can send 1 equipped card equipped to this card to the graveyard and inflict 500 damage to my opponent. But his defense position effect is really where he shines the most. Because while he's in defense position once per turn, I can equip 1 face-up monster my opponent controls to this card as an equipped target. So really, he just helps get rid of problematic monsters on my opponent's board while he's in defense position, because I can equip something with this, summon a couple of other things, go for a synchro or a link play, or even XCs. I do run Princess Sprite in the deck. So really just whatever play is available to you. You can steal something try and steal something with Vaccuumen, use Vaccuumen as a material for an extra deck summon, and bye-bye problematic monster, essentially. But anyway, moving on to spells, we have 3 copies of the Morphtronic Repair Unit. With Morphtronic Repair Unit, send 1 Morphtronic from my hand to the graveyard and select 1 Morphtronic in my graveyard. Special summon it and equip it with this card. When this card is removed from the field, destroy the equipped monster. It's basically premature burial for Morphtronics, and it is an equip spell. If I was playing Power Tool Dragon, you could search it out, but I don't play Power Tool Dragon. I used to have this equipped Morphtronic build, where we just played like double tool CMD, we stand Mage Power. It really did help. If you guys want to see that build, I'm more than happy to put it back together with all the new stuff. But anyway, moving on, I run 2 copies of the Morphtronic Accelerator. If I had a 3rd, I would definitely play a 3rd. Basically, with Accelerator, return 1 Morphtronic card from my hand to the deck and destroy 1 card on the field and draw a card. Basically, just a bit of popping, bit of draw power, helps unclog your hand if it's a clogging Morphtronic. Because honestly, you do want to try and get to your Celphon as fast as possible, because it is your playmaker, essentially. Next up, 2 Junk Box. Another card I'm considering bumping up to 3, because select 1 Morphtronic level 4 or lower Morphtronic monster in my graveyard, special summon it, but destroy it during the end phase. just to revive. It just revives Celphon, honestly. So some Celphon gets die effect off. Special summon something, Link plays, Xyz plays, Synchro plays, whatever you need to go off on your combos. Next up, 2 copies of the Morphtronic Map. I am thinking about cutting this deck. This card. I'm not gonna lie, because it's the only good thing about it is its second effect, but I'll get to that in a second. His first effect, each time a monster's battle position is changed, place 1 morph counter on this card. All Morphtronic monsters gain 300 attack for each morph counter on this card. When this card is destroyed and sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Morphtronic monster from your graveyard. So your opponent destroys it with like a Twin Twisters, that you're gonna get it back. You destroy it yourself with I don't think I have many cards that pop. Black Rose, I'll get a Celphon back. So it's a decent card, but I don't touch it. I mean, I've activated it a few times. It does get the revive effect off, but it doesn't really do the morph counters. It's really just there for revival. Next up, I run 2 Machine Dupe, because Celphon has less than 500 attack and it's a machine. Opening Celphon plus Machine Dupe is just crazy, the boards you can make with it. Depending on what you get off of the dice roll, Celphon's dice roll, you can do some amazing plays. Next up, I run for staples, the 1 Dark Hole, the 1 Terraforming for the Morphtronic Map. The 1 limited removal, because why not? It's limited removal. You're playing a machine deck. The 1 Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is to send Celphon to the grave if you open up Junk Box or some form of revival. Just move them out of the... Next up, for you to help search out Celphon, is the 1 1-for-1. Pretty self-explanatory. Celphon's a level 1. Use it to summon the Celphon. Finally, your 2 power spells of the deck are the 1 Soul Charge and the 1 Monster Reborn. Honestly, pretty self-explanatory. Helps you swarm the field 4 plays. Moving on to the trapped lineup, I am running 2 of the Storming Mirror Force with the 1 Solemn Warning, and finally the 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, just for the just for a bit of back row. I have considered taking out the Stormings plus the Bottomless for for a 2-strike and a Judgment. It's really player preference. I'm thinking of it. I'm thinking kind of trap lineup altogether. It's really, as I said, keep saying, player preference to what you want to do with your build. Anyway, moving on to the extra deck, I run 1 copy of Formula Synchron, 1 copy of Armory Arm. So you could run Elder Entity Hastor, but I like Armory Arm because it can power up your own monsters. It can make even Mrs. Radiant go from 1-9 to 2-9, which honestly is difficult to get over in some cases. Next up, for 5s, TG Hyper Librarian and Naturia Beast. You do run a lot of Earth, so Naturia Beast is just amazing. Bit of negation there. TG Hyper Librarian, and not really the best in Sling formats, a thing, but still pretty good. You can get some draws off it occasionally, and it is a bit of a bridge as well, with Scopen into Crystal Wings, so it's there. Next up, for level 6, 1 Naturia Vaccuumen, just for a bit more negation, because we're running beasts and we can make beasts and Vaccuumen, so why not run them? Level 7s, I run the 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon for the Morphtronic Map and the 1 Black Rose Dragon to blow stuff up, because board wipes are just... everyone needs a board wipe now and then, and Black Rose is there. Level 8's Crystal Wing, self-explanatory. Use Ancient Fairy plus Smarfon or Hyper Librarian or Beast with the what's it called? I'm Scopen. Yeah, it's Scopen. Okay. Or the Remoten, even if you have to use Remoten, you can use Remoten. So it's good. Last synchro monster I run is 1 Trishula Dragon of the Ice. I recently got this card. I am so happy I've got this card now. Trishula is just amazing. It's just an amazing card. Glad it's off the ban list. Glad I've got my hands on one. But anyway, moving on to my XC's monsters, I run the 1 Sylvan Princess Sprite for the rank 1 plays and for the rank 4 plays. I didn't originally have this in the deck. I originally ran Quasar and Shooting Star. But I do run the 1 Utopia Lightning and the 1 Utopia, self-explanatory. They're awesome. And finally for the links, I run the 1 Underclock Taker, the 1 Mrs. Radiant, and the 1 Decode Talker. These guys are self-explanatory as well. Underclock's just a good generic rank 2. Mrs. Radiant is just good for an Earth deck. And Decode Talker, well, everyone knows Decode Talker. But anyway, that is the end of this deck profile. If you guys enjoyed this video, please show appreciation by smashing that like button down below. Links to my Twitter and my Instagram are down in the description below, so please check me out there. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here for now, so until next time, stay frosty.